So right here is just two pieces of evidence that we already found. But right here is from the National Institutes of Health, and that is just sharing how discrimination was positively affected with anxiety, depression, and other internalized behaviors.
Okay, so we chose this topic because all three of us, we got together under one topic of social justice, and we got together and we thought we all come from very different backgrounds, and one of the parts of discrimination, we all have went through it in different ways. Some of us have been bystanders to it, some of us have been the victim of it, and so we thought, how can we show people the effects that it has on certain people and why we shouldn't do it anymore?
So the first thing we did for our process was we talked to each other about what we wanted to do and what we wanted to inform our audience.
So we then contacted Ms. Bowles, who is our guidance counselor, and she teaches a lot of SEO workshops, and so with her guidance we were able to know how to keep the class engaged and what we really wanted to say and how we could get it out to them without them choosing not to listen.
And so then we presented our topic to a class of 8th graders, and we put that into our presentation for our data instead of using very biased research that we get off the internet, off of Google. And so we used it and we created our own data charts, and we analyzed them and we described what they were saying and summarized basically how a lot of the feelings were and what they perceived.
So afterwards, once we did all that, we presented what we had to a class of 8th grade students, and we gathered information from them for our SEL workshop.
So then after that, we created a pre and a post survey. So before we taught our actual lesson, we gave them a pre-survey to see what they already knew about discrimination and the different effects of it, and see how they felt and the different things they thought. So then after that, we had our post survey after we already taught the lesson, and we were shocked by a lot of the data, and so that's where we got our true answers, and we saw how much they learned and all the different things that they could really do about it. So this is our pre-survey results. So one of our first questions was discrimination, and they have the answers of to treat a person differently because something unique or different about them, to treat a person differently due to their race, or just making fun of anything. And so 73.3% of them chose A, 12.9% of them chose B, and 13.8% of them chose C. So it kind of tells us that they didn't know what discrimination was, but they didn't know all the different details about them yet. So then our next question was, what do you think discrimination can do to a student's mental and physical health? And 83.3% of them chose a negative impact on their mental health, 11.1% of them chose insecure feelings, and 5.6% of them chose it had no effect on them at all. And our last question for our pre-survey was, what are you hoping to take away from this? And 78.9% of them chose what are the different ways that people are affected by this. 5.3% of them chose why is this still happening today with all of these different negative things that happen to them that can affect them. And 15.8% of them chose how can it affect the physical health as well, minus just negative, just the mental health.
Okay, so this is our post survey, and our first question that we had on our post survey was, now that you know what discrimination in school is, what do you think our school could improve on? So 85% said for our school to be more inclusive, 5% said more respectful, and 10% for everyone to be more trusting of each other. And so our second question was, what did you learn or take from this lesson? And 85% said how to treat others, 5% said the effects, and 10% said the seriousness of discrimination.
So our last question was, what is discrimination in your own words after the lesson? And 9.4 of them basically said mistreatment of another child, and then 5.6 of them chose misjudgment. So they told us now people know that there are negative ways of discrimination, and they understand more of what it is and how it affects others more than what they knew at the beginning when we first did our pre-survey.
Okay, so the outcome of our project, we believe our project was very successful because we were able to get the word out about what we believe what we wanted to get to the other students about how it affects the students' mental and physical health. And so after we presented, we left the floor open for students to share stories about either the times that they've been discriminated or even times when they saw a change in their friend because they had been discriminated.
so our reflection after this, so we did go through a lot of difficulties with creating this project. We changed our action plan a couple of times, changed our topic a little bit as well, so it was a very bumpy road. So we got others to be able to spread the word to other students and their parents as well as when they got home, to tell them about the new things that they learned about discrimination, so that the ways that their parents were taught when they were younger can change with the different times and generations that we're going through, so that everybody can kind of keep up with everything that's going on, with all the new things that are happening, the new types of discrimination that happen every day. And we got to figure out a lot of different things about our students, that some of them discriminate themselves, things that normal people don't point out to them, but they start to notice it themselves. So we found different ways of discrimination. They taught us something as well. They taught us that you can self-discriminate yourself, and we learned a lot of new different ways, and they had different opinions about certain things that happen and why they do certain things, such as discrimination towards others. So, yeah.
I want to thank y'all for listening